Now, a moment we have all been waiting for. Up next, a dear friend and principal product manager at Adobe, Ritesh Somani. There is so much more I can say about Ritesh, but I'm quite sure that after this talk, you'll find time to talk with him.
All right, good morning, good morning. Wanted to spend some time to talk to everyone here today. Welcome everyone, I guess from all over the world, right? A few of us had quite an adventure getting here, I'm sure. There were definitely issues, but you know, the beauty of New York, when you get here, when you see the tall buildings, you see the lights, the hustle bustle, the energy, it's quite contagious. And I hope everyone is still feeling that energy for right now and for the rest of the day as well. Thank you, Marcia and team, for arranging just a fabulous event, and in conjunction with the Magento Association as well. So today, I'm happy to be here with you all, representing both Adobe and the Magento Association Board to kick off, this wonderful day, and also provide an update from you on a lot of the work being done by Adobe to support the community. Now, the one thing is, I can't claim to be part of the open source community for as long as some of you have been, and so I am on a learning journey from that standpoint, but throughout my career, I have worked towards building solutions to help businesses prosper. I've worked in commerce and especially with small to mid-sized companies. I've even had my own small business in the past, so I know what that's like. And I've also run the back end for an online platform. So all of that stuff is at least in my DNA. Commerce, small business are in my DNA. And you know what I get joy in? I get joy in seeing different entrepreneurs realize their dreams and making a difference in the world. Today, I'm going to share with you an update from Adobe and to demonstrate why this community and the Magento open source continues to be important for Adobe. Well, I think Marcia already talked about this, but we are super excited to be back in person as one community. And if there's any indication that, at least from an Adobe perspective, this community matters, I mean, look, this is the group of people that help foster dreams, prosperity, and hope worldwide, right? Whether it's a merchant launching for the first time, or developers or agencies building business, employing others, and driving the economy. And so therefore, Magento open source matters. And it matters because for a lot of small businesses, it starts right there. And I want to emphasize Adobe's commitment, and you'll see the smiling faces on the screen tell the whole story on Adobe's commitment. We have more than 35 people here in attendance today, and we are participating, my colleagues and I, in about 20% of all of the sessions that are happening. So I'm super excited to be a part of this and to share this with everyone here. Now, what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about the customers, right? The merchants, the folks that we are all in service of. And like I mentioned before, I'm a huge proponent of basically the entrepreneurial dream and giving businesses, sort of the tools that they need to grow and thrive. It's so exciting to see small businesses like this thrive on the Magento open source platform. And I think the best part of supporting small businesses like this is knowing that people can build their livelihoods on something that this community contributes to. I mean, just think about that. Everyone here is helping, businesses like this make that presence and have an active business available for them. I think we should all stop and give ourselves a round of applause for that, right? I mean, I think it's so cool on a day-to-day basis to see all the different offerings, segments, markets served by businesses, and to continue to see the entrepreneurial spirit, the innovation, and basically the drivers of this worldwide economy. You know, I'll give you an example. Early on in my career, I talked to a business out in China, and they built custom bicycles. And one of the things that I noticed about these bicycles is they had really fat tires. And I'm not a bicyclist at all, so forgive me if I misrepresent. There's really fat tires. And I was wondering to myself, where in China do these bicycles go that they need these big snow tires basically on them? And he mentioned to me, no, a lot of these bikes go to Europe. And that's where the biggest market is. And it's this online commerce and the ability for platforms like Magento to be able to provide these opportunities for businesses like this. Or for the cupcake enthusiast who wants to turn her hobby into a business. These are the people that this community has and can continue to support. So I appreciate that, and I think we should all. One more round of applause for that. All right. And then, as businesses transition, right? No business wants to stagnant or basically settle. And they grow and they transition. Here's an example of another customer, Sugarfina. It's a really sweet business. But I'm bummed. That's why I don't do comedy. That's pretty much why. But, you know, Sugarfina, for example, they've got locations right here in New York City. There's one by Grand Central Station. But this is a great example of a customer that started on open source and has transitioned now into Adobe Commerce. They've grown themselves into a $70 million business, and they've been on Adobe Commerce for almost 5 years. So it's the power of what we've all been able to do and to help companies like this sort of get to the next level. Are you guys all familiar with bubble wrap? Well, Sealed Air, who's an Adobe Commerce customer, actually invented bubble wrap. I just learned this in the last 72 hours myself. But, you know, it's a prime example of one of our enterprise customers. And this type of customer using multiple Adobe offerings along with commerce, and they are on a digital transformation journey. So all this to say that, you know, this community can help foster and support different merchants at different stages of their journeys, and I think we all play a part in helping folks along sort of that journey as well. Now, as you know, Adobe Commerce is an area of focus for Adobe, right? It sits as a core component of the Experience Cloud, and most of our mid-market and enterprise customers enjoy the integration of Adobe Commerce with other parts of the Experience platform. And for us, you know, commerce application performance and scalability is super important. And over the last few quarters, we've made several improvements along those lines. Again, Adobe Commerce is designed for larger mid-market and enterprise customers. You know, a lot of Magento open source customers might not find the need of processing over 200,000 orders an hour, but it's important for a lot of the folks that we talk to. And these are the type of benchmarks that we strive to attain and exceed, at least on the Adobe Commerce side. Now I want to talk a little bit, switch focus a little bit about, you know, Adobe's continued commitment and involvement in the open source community. I'll talk to you about, you know, the marketplace, the Adobe Commerce Marketplace. It's an ecosystem that's built to serve our merchants and extension builders. And it includes a complete extension store for people to shop and browse. And not only that, but we run a process around extension quality, and we've made tremendous enhancements in that as well. So over 3,000 extensions, and now with the improvement to the quality process, we're helping to get, on average, new submissions up on that marketplace in about 30 hours. And this is our way of helping all of you in this community support your businesses and make money out of the value that you can drive on top of this platform. And the numbers are astounding. Over 3,000 extensions and 1,000 active extension builders. So I applaud that as well. Good job, everyone. In addition to this, we've continued to contribute to the community. Some of you might know Parul from her, she's our community manager, and as part of the role as the community manager, she manages a lot of the community hangouts, community forums, a monthly newsletter, and I just think it's great. The one thing that struck me here is look at the potential of that community. If you could see down there, the Magento forums, almost 500,000 members, right? And her goal is to continue to foster that participation and get the community more involved and engaged. Of course, it's not a one-person job, so everyone can help sort of bring that up. And her contact information is there. She knows I put it up here today. But please reach out to her and see how she can help and how we can all help sort of spread the word as well. The other thing I want to talk about is Adobe's continued contributions to sort of the open source code base. This is research that we were actually looking into and seeing, how involved we can and are and have been. Some of these numbers are pretty impressive, and it just continues to show our continued commitment, to the Magento open source code base. Like, for example, Adobe has not only fixed 68% of the bugs since the version 2.4.0 release, but one of the things that I'm most proud of is Adobe as a group has identified the most issues only behind the community. So like one of the largest groups in terms of identifying issues for the code base. And on average, an Adobe employee contributes about 86 contributions per person, which is pretty impressive. So there is focus, and there is continued energy to, continue to enhance sort of that code base. The other thing I want to talk about is solutions that are built to support, the needs of customers. And some of these solutions, you'll see, are basically common business functions that we think all entrepreneurs and business owners are going to need to deal with. And it's the ability for someone to really come in and employ some of these things. And we have developed them with strategic partners, and they're available sort of on a pay-per-use basis, so no expensive license fees or anything to get going. And what it does is it helps merchants focus on what they do best, whatever their interest is, their product, servicing their customers, the things that only they can do, and hopefully take some of the other aspects out of running the business away. A lot of the folks that support these solutions are here today, so feel free to stop by the Adobe booth and talk to them also if you want to learn anything more. I'm going to talk a little bit really quickly about Stanislav. He's the other Adobe representative that's now also part of the Magento Association. He is our second representative. And his team basically runs all of the internal processes at Adobe to support the Magento open source code base. So aside from being the second rep, a technical presence, he's also a good guy. So get to know him. Again, I told him that I'm going to show his contact information, so feel free to get in touch with him as well. And the one thing that I want to talk about that Slava mentioned earlier is coming in October in order to make all of these merchant stories that we've been discussing, building businesses for all of you, we need to basically continue this collaboration and communication. You know, since I joined and spent time focusing on the open source community, a small team and I within Adobe have been learning and identifying how we can create a more sort of inclusive process with more participation from everyone. And so this is our proposal, as Slava mentioned. We're looking to engage with the Magento Association to communicate this a little bit more broadly and get the spirit and enthusiasm back in the code base. This comes from interviews that we did earlier with community members and saw different areas in driving velocity and with the correct prioritization of things in the code base. Adobe shouldn't be dictating these. Adobe shouldn't be dictating these. And so with this plan, we're hopeful that we can connect back to the community, facilitate with the Magento Association, and work in a way where you know, we have a nice divide on how we get things prioritized and into the code base. Now, the reality of it is that resources aren't limitless, right? We all face that problem. I mean, I'm a product person. To me, there's never enough engineering resources to get everything done, like ever. But you know, this process that we're hoping, and Slava mentioned a little bit, will be transparent. And as a group, we'll have to make some trade-offs and figure out which are the right things that we can put into, that we should be putting into the code base based on what the community feels is important. And like I said, it will be a democratic process and hopefully predictable and transparent, and we're going to continue to enforce that. Now, this is a step in showing Adobe's continued commitment to the code base and also engaging the spirit of our two ecosystems, but one community. And we're going to start rolling this process out in October. It may be a little bit bumpy, but I encourage everyone to get involved and to participate with it and really make, you know, this code base the best that it can be with direction from the community. Now, lastly, I want to definitely take some time to thank our top contributors and maintainers. It would suck if I didn't, and so definitely here are pictures of a lot of these folks. If any of these folks are here today, or you see them in the group, I'd actually love to meet them personally and thank them from Adobe's perspective. So actually, we should all stop, and we should give these folks a round of applause. I don't know if you guys see the one thing that I saw, though, in this list that I pulled of the top contributors. There's a lot of representation from our friends at Wix, right? So I challenge all of you that we get some new faces on this list for the next time and make this a really, truly worldwide contribution slide model for the next time, right? So Wix, good job getting us there, but let's see if we can, I challenge the rest of us to get some other folks into this. All right, I'm almost getting there. So this is not a shameless plug, but maybe it is. These are some of my other smart and talented colleagues who have been speaking throughout the day. You know, please visit their sessions. If you didn't like their sessions, I actually don't know them. No, just kidding. It'll be great. A lot of good content out there. And okay, now, if you didn't listen to anything else that I've said up until right now, or if you were dozing off, or if you needed to get that cup of coffee, this is the moment. This is what's going to be on the test. So, look, all I can say is Magento open source is here, and Adobe believes in it as a foundation for commerce for small businesses worldwide. We continue to appreciate all the contributions from individuals and partner organizations till now. We expect more into the future as well. And at the end of it, like, yes, Adobe Commerce and Magento open source are two separate ecosystems, maybe targeting different types of customers with maybe slightly different needs. But at the end of the day, We are all one community. And I think we have to embrace that and then figure out how we put all of this together. I truly believe together we can build all of our collective businesses and continue to support the community, specifically Magento open source. And at the end of this, as we've heard, with everything going on in the world, this is a business of people, right? And I'm confident if we approach it in a way where we spread kindness, respect for each other, we'll be able to all team up together to power the prosperity of the next generation of businesses worldwide. Thank you, everyone.